Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 1499 and Doubleshot number 1393. I got two DC stuff here. Excuse me. Two DC stuff here. One is a trade paperback. The other some individual issues of a story arc that has been collected in trade, but I couldn't get it quickly enough. So, do individual issues. Alright, first up it is Sinestro, Volume 3, Rising. This collects Sinestro 12-15, along with Lobo Volume 3, 10-11, and the annual for Lobo Volume 3. Yeah. Oh yeah, this also collects Sinestro Sneak Preview, which is not listed in the back. Yes. It collects DC Sneak Peek Sinestro number 1. Now, Colin Bunn is the writer majority of this. I think that we have Frank Barber. I think he may write one of the stuff related to Lobo. The artists here are Brad Walker, Andrew Hensey, Robert Saruka, Jonathan Gopin, Mario Ortigo, Matt Banning. I've met this guy. And the thing with Matt Banning is, I got into a argument with him. I was not particularly too pleased. I didn't have a really good experience with him. He's the only comic creator that I've had bad experience of meeting in person. I was talking to him at Dave Finch, and, well, I decided to simply just leave him alone, and I just didn't want to talk to him. I did mention to Dave Finch I have met Matt Banning. I didn't mention the mild thing that happened. I don't want to talk anymore about Matt Banning at all. I have nothing against Matt Banning. It's just that, well, I just basically don't want to relive the experience, basically. It was kind of, in a way, my fault what happened. But if I ever get a chance, I don't know if he will remember me at all. I highly doubt he would, because he meets a lot of people. If basically somehow he does remember me, I will apologize to him on what happened if he actually remembers. So this was about 3 years ago. The other artists are Daniel Hagcorti, Cam Smith, Roy Oze, and Ethan Van Sciver. Yeah, so with the whole thing of basically what happened after this, of course, after Convergence. Now, here's the thing: I have not reviewed yet Volume 2 because Volume 2 is not coming to the library yet. I'll coming really soon. Though when I get it, I'm just going to cover issues 9 through 11 this National Annual because I've already covered issues 6 to 8 already because, well, Godhead. And this is, of course, right because Becca, Beckado, I think her name is, she's a member of the Sinestro's group. Now, throughout this book, basically, we have, at the start, we have Sinek. She's Sinestro's daughter. She's first a member of the Green Lantern Corps, and then Sinestro takes away her ring because of stuff going on in Green Lantern Corps Lost Army. Yeah. Here's the strange thing about that. How the heck they got to the past universe? As far as I can tell, I think DC just completely forgot that plot thread. Like, I think they were curious to, like, how the heck they got to the past. And I think that the DC completely forgot about that. By the way, Colin Bunn wrote Lost Army. Yeah, he wrote that miniseries. But Edge of Oblivion, that wasn't by Tom Taylor. As for what was the purpose of Lost Army? No idea. Because I think it was something that was kind of an interesting idea that was completely forgotten about. Seriously. Like, some unknown enemy that caused the Green Lantern Corps to completely disappear. As far as I can tell, I think DC just dropped this plot thread and just basically had this mysterious enemy that took the Green Lantern Corps to the universe where Relic came from, and, like, have everybody else like they did that, and they just never revealed who was responsible for it. Was it the Light Masters? I highly doubt it because they basically don't know what the heck was going on with that. and realized people were giants. And I'm like, what was the purpose basically having the Grand Core disappear if you're not going to basically develop it? Yeah, that was the thing. They just basically did this complete random right after Convergence, and it was never followed up with. Basically, the Grand Core did come back to the present, but that's what caused them to go to this other universe for about a year. Never explained. So Sinestro basically causes the ring to disappear. He says, I wasn't responsible for it. So basically, he makes her a member of the Sinestro Corps. We do have a new member who turns out this woman is a surgeon who was exiled for some reason and does an autopsy on Tomar 2's people. Yeah, seriously, they're a member of Tomar 2's people. And, well, we also have what we kind of figure out someone sabotaging the planetary core, and I think it's one of these three people. So Sinestro executes him, and it turns out the person who betrayed him was Lisa Dark, who he ends up making out with. And here's the strange thing, though. I would have thought, though, they would have the issue open with those two in bed together. Nope, you would not see those two in bed together until, like, toward the end of the series. Yeah, Lisa Dark is a hot woman, like a very beautiful woman. And it seems as though at some points, the way the artist draws her in here, it seems like she's still thin, but it looks like she doesn't do any exercise. And I thought at some points it looked like she's putting a little bit of weight. Even though she's not basically eating, she's never shown eating at all. Also, and by the way, basically Sinestro hates the fact she's a member of the Sinestro Corps. At first, basically, her outfit was very similar to her Green Lantern Corps outfit, with basically the zipper down front. Yeah, that's what it was originally. Like, let me show you what the outfit originally looked like when she became a member of the Sinestro Corps. Yeah, this is what it originally looked like. Yeah, it looks like the spinning image of a regular Sinestro Corps attire, and then later on they switched it up for some reason. Yeah, they had her alter her costume for some reason. I have no idea why. It was right after DC sneak peek. And look, here's Lisa Dark here. Does it look like she's putting on like a little bit of weight? Yeah, that's what it seems like some of the artwork I've seen here. Oh, and by the way, we also have one of these things. The two-page spread turned on its side. Yeah, it's been a minor thing that's happened in the last several years. But that was something that started back in the 90s. It was a very popular thing to do. And look, here is... Well, they did slightly alter her costume. Yeah, it was a slight alteration, but... Yeah, it's not like we was before, where she have a little more skin here. But, yeah. And then later on, after the whole traitor thing, and of course, after this new Sinestro joins up with Winick, we have a storyline involving the Pretty Lobo. I'm not kidding about that. We have Pretty Lobo here. I call him Pretty Lobo because that's what everybody else calls him. Because no one likes this version at all. It is by far the only character who got a redesign that got a negative backlash against it. Like, this guy claimed he was the real Lobo, so he killed the actual Lobo at the start of his series off screen, where apparently he beheaded and they just fried his head. And then later on we see Lobo alive and well in the pages of Justice League vs. Suicide Squad. Oh, and just by sheer coincidence, issues 10 and 11 are toward the end of the series, where at the start of it he was wearing his outfit he was wearing at the start of the series, and then like after this two-part in the annual, which by the way in the annual we actually have fighting frickin' Sinestro, which I thought was really awesome, he ended up basically sporting the outfit of the actual Lobo for some reason. I have no idea why. This book is just fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Damn good book. Alright, next up, I'm going to talk about As the Crow Flies from Batman 626, 630. Now, this is the last thing I'm actually talking about for Judd Winick's time on Batman. I've covered Under the Red Hood and Long Shadows. This was technically his very first story arc he ever did for Batman. Yep. Now, sorry about this. Basically, Mike. There we go. Yes, here's the cover for issue 626. Now, what mostly happens with this story arc is that we actually have the Scarecrow Beast happen here. Yes. You may see images of this online. It is simply Scarecrow turning this monstrosity. Yeah. Yeah, this is to do some... Yeah, if I can find the picture here. Yeah, it happened at the end of one of the issues where he turned into this creature, he mutated. And he's like this from the second part up until, like, the very end of this very story arc. Mm-hmm. And here he is, the Scare Beast. Yeah, he becomes this monstrosity. And basically, he ends up hurting Batman much more severely than usual because Scarecrow, when you see him, he's a physically weak man. He's very weak. This is probably by far the most... It's like basically the best way to describe this is basically him get hooked on Venom, even though there's no mention of the fact he actually got hooked on Venom. And he fighting Batman, get this, first in Wayne Manor, and then somehow the battle dragged into the frickin' Batcave. Also during the story, we have a loose follow-up to Hush, where we supposedly see the return of Jason Todd. Yes, we think it's Jason Todd, and like, is this gonna be followed up with like right after this? No, because we actually had War Games happen for a few issues, and then we finally follow up with this with Under the Red Hood. Yeah, and there's a cameo appearance by the Penguin. He plays a very small role in the story, and mostly put just Batman, Alfred, and the Tim Drake Robin versus Scare Beast. This storyline was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed reading this damn thing. It just was really, really good. I'm going to give the story arc a 9 out of 10. Really good. In case you're curious, though, who does the artwork for this story, it's Dustin Negan, who actually was, I believe, the artist for the Under the Red Hood story arc. Yeah, he was the artist for that one. Mm-hmm. Yep. Final thoughts on John Winick's time on Batman. Yeah, that's kind of weird, though. The guy did like 3 story arcs. He did this one, Under Red Hood, which was really long. This was like almost 15 issues, this one was. And then there was Long Shadows, and that was it. Seriously, that was it. He just abruptly... This one, I think he just took time off because War Games happened to happen. He did not want to get involved with that. So then he came back after War Games, did Under Red Hood, left for a while because I think he wanted to do other stuff. But here's the... After Long Shadows, he did like 2 books after that. The first book he did was Catwoman. He did Catwoman basically from 2011 to 2012-ish. He did Catwoman and Batwing. Catwoman he left after the first 12 issues in issue 0. Batwing he left after there was 14 issues, issue 0. And after that he did nothing for 8 years. Until he did a couple short stories. He did 1 short story for Robin 80th Anniversary and a short story for Superman Blue and Red. Red and Blue, and that's been it for him. Yep. So yeah, that's it for Cycler Review. Stay tuned for my next review, which will be my 1500th episode for the series. We'll be discussing a Batman trade and a Wonder Woman trade. Okay, next video.